Okay, Richard Wynn, and then followed by Dottie Reichert.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. Richard Wynn, 4656 Valley Glen Drive here in Corona. I wasn't going to comment on this, but I'd like to second what Mr. Speak said 100%. I think it's very valuable information. And I would also like to comment on the non-emergency police line, having the opportunity to use it last night. I won't go into the details of the construction problems with the widening of the freeway, but they were very helpful in giving me a phone number I could call, and I got a call back early this morning from somebody who works normal hours, and wasn't particularly satisfied with the answer, but I got an answer. So anyway, the system works, and I thank you for it. I am here this evening. Thank you.
You're not done yet, Richard. You're okay.
That was quick. At Mr. Tom Munoz's request, because he was quoting some statistics in the last meeting and was cut off due to time constraints. So he asked me if I would read those. And the discussion point was related to the improvements or, let's say, front yard improvements to the Historic Civic Center. And kind of building on those comments, Mr. Speak said that the material was kind of thin. Apparently he went out and made some measurements because the width of the building affected by alternative number 4, which was recommended by staff, makes the building about 230 feet wide and 146 feet deep from the street, which is about 33,580 square feet. That's a lot of property. You could pour 7,200 square foot lot in there and get a cul-de-sac in there to work it. And you already have a fire hydrant in place, so that's really good. It also would require the removal of the 4 olive trees and 3 mature evergreen trees, and the concept was not clear on whether they were shrubs or trees that were going to be replacing the ones removed. Also, there was a question about parking. There are some 200 feet of green painted curbing that's currently marked for 3-hour parking on the north side of 6th Street, plus a 50-foot yellow curb for loading from the red parking zone or red bus drop-off zone heading west toward Buena Vista. The round fountain currently in place there is on a 56 square foot concrete pad. So those items of information might be of relevance when the next study session comes up. The other point was there was this question about parking, and I checked with a traffic engineer, and they say typically out of 100 feet of lineal curb feet, you can get 5 parallel parking or 7 angled parking spaces. Don't know what relevance that would have for us, but just so you have it in your background, so if that comes up in the future, you'd have that knowledge. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. Dottie Reichert, and then Don Williamson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council persons. I am Dottie Eric Rickard. I live at 1569 Chalgrove Drive, Corona, California. I've been a resident of Corona for almost 30 years, but my interaction with Corona starts much earlier. In 1946, my father built a home on Whaley Drive in La Sierra, which we may soon be able to see because of the grading of the hill between us and La Sierra. It's a large home because we had student overflow from La Sierra University at that time living with us. My mother in the 50s worked for Dr. Paul Nielsen in Corona, and I was a patient of Dr. Herman for all my physicals. We shopped at Mrs. Hopkins, bought mother-daughter outfits for my sister and myself, did not always like them, and my mother to wear to church. And also went to Vassal's, one of my favorite stores, and Juanita's. So I have quite a history of Corona. And when the transportation man talked about aesthetics, one of my favorite things, because I've seen the deterioration of 6th Street, I've seen the loss of the mall, but when I heard what was going to be done to the lawn and the fountain at Historic Civic Center, I was really distressed. I love going by there. It's calming, it's an aesthetic, beautiful setting. I see the many, many families that have wedding pictures taken there. And it's really one of the most beautiful spots on 6th Street, probably the best looking. And I hate to see it go. I have a feeling that this is a done decision, but I had, as a member of the Corona Historic Preservation Society, I had to at least speak. And I do want to thank you. I'm also a member of the board for Alliance for Family Wellness, and I want to thank you for that much-needed money. Thank you.
Thank you, Dottie. Don Williamson, followed by Terry Figueroa.